Friday, June 4th, 2004, an Air Force veteran settling down in the small town of Granby, Colorado, quickly found himself at his breaking point after losing a decade-long legal battle to a powerful family dynasty who took his land and ran his muffler shop out of business. To enact revenge, the welder fortified a bulldozer into a homemade tank and set out to destroy the small town that took everything from him, resulting in a response from the Army National Guard and an Apache helicopter.
You had to take me on en masse. Well, I'm going to take you on by myself.
In 1992, an auction was held in the small town of Granby, Colorado, in which a foreclosed 2-acre property was to be sold to individual bidders, and Cody Dochev, a powerful Colorado businessman, saw an opportunity to expand some of his business, with plans to buy and build a state-of-the-art concrete plant for his company, Mountain Park Concrete. But to Dochev's surprise, there was another man who had his eye on the foreclosed property, Air Force veteran and Granby newcomer Marvin Heemeyer, who outbid Dochev and secured the 2-acre property for $42,000 to build a muffler shop and expand his welding business. A frustrated Dochev confronted Marv and advised him that the town of Granby doesn't need another car garage, to which Marv advised Dochev that the property was his for $60,000. But Dochev declined his offer and refused to give in to the blue-collar outsider. Marv left the auction with no idea what was to come. The outsider had inadvertently derailed the plans of one of Granby's most prominent and powerful families, and the Dochevs were sure to never let him forget. By the late summer of 1992, Marvin Heemeyer settled in to his new hometown of Granby. He renovated the 2-acre property and built a large warehouse to serve as his body shop. And shortly after, Mountain View Mufflers was officially open for business. His neighbors at Mountain Park Concrete weren't too pleased, among them Cody Dochev. And in the months to follow, the Dochev secured a loan and offered Marv $250,000 for the 2-acre property. But Marv reportedly raised the price to $375,000 and again to $1 million, further agitating the Dochevs. A few weeks later, Marv received a letter from the town of Granby informing him that his property sewage wasn't up to code. He assumed the problem wouldn't take much work and inquired on how and where to hook up his sewage lines. But to his surprise, the lines were located nearly 500 feet from his property, and with him being responsible for the materials, construction, and months of labor, Marv was shit out of luck with a $100,000 estimate just to connect his sewage. And to add even more red tape, Marv's property didn't even have a maintenance easement. And because the easement would traverse property lines, Marv had to seek the approval of his neighbors over at Mountain Park Concrete, directly from Gus Harris and Cody Dochev. Marv went straight to the board of the sewer district, run by another Granby family dynasty, Ron Thompson, a friend of Dochev's and brother of Granby Mayor Dick Thompson. And like Dochev, Ron Thompson wasn't too keen on outsiders like Marv. Thompson gave him an ultimatum: $90,000 to get his sewage ordeal fixed and up to code, or remain unconnected and face the consequences. Left with no choice, Marv refrained from connecting his sewage with hopes of finding a cheaper alternative in the future. And by November of that year, Marv returned to the sewage board and demanded easement, and settled a deal with Gus Harris to traverse his property at $20,000 per acre. But in the weeks to follow, Gus Harris ghosted Marv and failed to honor his word, forcing Marv's sewage to remain unconnected for several months. And the months became years, and by 1998, the Dochevs decided to move forward with their construction plans of a massive indoor concrete plant. Marv resisted, but wanted to maintain a cordial relationship with the Dochev, but he was inevitably forced to act, as the Dochevs intended on building in the southwest portion of Marv's property, where Marv had already planned on building a large parking lot for his customers. The Dochevs applied for and received a bizarre location-specific zoning permit that exempts certain plots of land from zoning laws if the purpose of rezoning falls into specific categories. And by the time he figured it all out, Marv was well past the 30-day deadline to appeal the decision. Construction vehicles and operations blocked off the only road to the muffler shop, and Marv began to lose customers. Out of desperation, Marv purchased a Komatsu bulldozer to make his own road for his customers, but he was shut down by Town Hall. And by November of 2002, a judgment was made against Marv for failing to connect his sewer line. The court ordered that the muffler shop remain closed, and with the dough chef denying easement, Marv was found in violation and was fined $100 a day until he connected his sewage. On November 17th of 2003, Marv wrote a check for the amount of $3,351, which he addressed to the Cowards and Liars Department, after having felt completely violated by the dough chefs and their shady political dealings. He lawyered up and took the town of Granby to court, but failed yet again and was punished for it, as the town turned around and reimposed additional fines of up to $1,000 for leaving abandoned vehicles on the rezoned property. And to add fuel to the fire, a local Granby newspaper wrote an editorial piece speaking poorly of Marv interfering with the dough chef's business, as if Marv was the bad guy. He was now stuck in a situation he had no way out of. A useless property, zero income, and his property and belongings were auctioned off. His direction and hopes for the future were in his mind stolen. What once was a dream became a nightmare. He truly believed that the town of Granby maliciously conspired against him, because the town of Granby perceived to have conspired against him. And that's what officials in Granby will never understand, whether or not they had malicious intent. If you carry the tools to break a man and present yourself as the villain, perception is reality. And in April of 2004, in Marv Heemeyer's reality, revenge trumped forgiveness, as he fortified half-inch steel plates insulated with concrete on the bulldozer.
I have had a perfect life up until 1999, when I found out what the Thompsons had done to me in 92. And I am not going to take it. And I have to use the resources that I have, the wherewithal that I have, the ability that I have, the knowledge that I have to make this right. I am not walking away from it. Maybe I'm being a coward by doing what I'm doing, because without a doubt, I'm doing what you have done. I'm lying. I'm conspiring. I'm keeping things secret. And it's going to happen. If I would have been married, had a family, things may have gone different. But God built me for this job. You had to take me on en masse. Well, I'm going to take you on by myself.
Good morning, Colorado.
It's great to get started with you.
Good Morning Colorado starts your day with what you need. Updating
Can you take us through it chronologically so people get a sense? I know it all started about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Where did he begin? Do you know?
Marv took the dozer straight through the Mountain Park concrete plant. His arch nemesis, Cody Dochef, tried to stop the onslaught by ramming Marv's Killdozer with a wheel tractor scraper, but retreated once Marv opened fire through one of 3 gun ports installed on the Killdozer.
So we do have a dozer that's completely armored and is carrying one building.
Once the concrete plant was successfully demolished, he moved on to Town Hall. Next, he destroyed the Granby newspaper office that slandered his name. Police responded to the chaos and had no means to stop the dozer. Their futile attempts to open fire and pierce the fortified shell proved useless.
Police couldn't stop the slow-moving bulldozer, which was armored with heavy iron plates welded in place of windows.
Using cameras installed on the top of the shell, Marv was able to maneuver and return fire toward police. Officer Glenn Traynor of the Granby Police Department rushed the Killdozer and climbed atop the shell in an attempt to find an opening, but to his surprise, the entire shell was welded shut as one fixed piece. Marv Heemeyer had no way out and purposefully lowered the shell over himself to commit to his plans, sealing himself inside. Then Colorado State Governor Bill Owens requested the National Guard to dispatch an Apache attack helicopter, as well as troops equipped with Javelin anti-tank missiles.
He is just headed westbound again. This is tape. He is again headed westbound into the downtown area. Right there, may have taken out a radiator he doesn't stop for.
And while striking a hardware store, the Killdozer turtled between the foundation and the basement, leaving the dozer stuck. And after 2 hours of pure carnage, a SWAT team approached the dozer and reported hearing the sound of a single gunshot from within, as Marvin Heemeyer, with no way out and no means to free the dozer, took his life. After hours of trial and error, authorities were able to break open the shell using an oxyacetylene cutting torch and recovered Marvin Heemeyer's body at approximately 2 a.m. The Killdozer was demoed, and its components were destroyed and dispersed between several junkyards. The rampage caused an estimated $7 million in property damage, and nobody was killed or injured during the incident, apart from Marvin Heemeyer. Leading up to the incident, Marv gave away all of his financial assets to his friends and family, and left various notes behind for his friends and his enemies. In the end, it was perceived that Marv was sabotaging Dochev's business plans, and not the other way around. And no matter how you look at it, perception is reality. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. There's a lot more mini documentaries in the works, and you don't want to miss them. So make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.